Okay, so let's see here. Have a gold 1 Cassie Emre. Let's see, what do you feel you struggle with most? Mechanics, positioning, getting stuck with that uptime. Okay. Let's see. At least for a map, escort map without angles, that's valid. At least for a character diva, also valid for hit scan. Also my least favorite character. And there's going to add, I have started reviewing my own gameplay and thinking I don't know what to work on. I wish I knew the right questions to be asking myself when reviewing gameplay to spot mistakes. Okay. First off, with VOD reviewing yourself, it's important to note that you need to know what you're trying to look for in the first place, right? And usually that's just whatever thing you want to be practicing, right? Now, I'm sure after this VOD review, hopefully we'll be able to give you some things to look for in your own self-reviews. But generally speaking, I mean, you can pick anything under the sun. You can always improve on it, right? No matter what rank you are, you can always improve. But especially like in gold, like you have a very wide variety of things that you can pick from that will give you a lot of value in working on, right? One of the suckiest things about climbing and getting better is that the things that you can improve on become smaller and smaller and have overall less value. So you're putting in, you know, twofold the work for half the gains, so to speak, right? But at least like here, like you don't really have to worry about like what really like min-maxing, like, you know, bang for buck. You can really kind of pick whatever is the most fun thing that you want to work on, and just focus on that, right? So that is a nice luxury. So like when the question you need to be asking yourself are essentially, you know, what goal already am I looking for, right? What am I looking to improve upon? Especially if you are playing, like let's say, I don't know, you're working on crosshair placement, right? Something fairly simple, you know, so you go into that lobby, you're into your next match, whatever, you're focusing on crosshair placement. That's the most important thing. VOD reviewing your own gameplay is great, but if you're sitting there autopiloting, not doing anything, then you're not really picking up a whole lot. Like, what you want to do in order to improve is pick something to focus on improving first, right? So in this case, we'll just say crosshair placement, right? So sit there and actually focus on making sure you have good crosshair placement, placing it, you know, like out in the right area, generally head level, you know, preferably if you have the info, you know, head level based off who you're expecting to peak, and generally trying to keep your crosshair around that area, not being very lazy and leaving it somewhere that's not very useful or you know, stuff like that, right? I mean, there's levels to it that you can always choose to how severe you want it to be, whatever, of course. And then just focus on that thing in that match, and that your goal isn't to win, whatever. It's just to get better at that, right? That is your goal, is to improve that aspect, and that's obviously not going to happen in one game, but whatever, right? And then you can then take that match into the workshop, you know, in the lab, in the VOD review, and go over and see how well you did, right? Look at things that you can improve upon. Basically, you're looking for the same stuff that you're looking to do in game. It's just now you have the luxury of being able to pause, think about it, ask yourself certain questions that might pertain to that specific thing that you're doing, right? So in this case, crosshair placement, like, you know, maybe you were aiming too high for somebody. It's like, well, how could I have known perhaps that they were going to have a tracer, you know, instead of a soldier? It's like, well, I mean, you were looking at the spawn door, you know, or you could move in this position to like gain more info first or whatever, you know. Like, obviously it's like very niche, like smaller things or whatever, but just as a general example, right? Like, general questions that just pertain to what you're doing. And I think you'll find as you are actually reviewing yourself with a goal in mind, especially if you're working on that goal, you don't really have to ask yourself nearly as many questions as you think you do, because when your gameplay is actually focused on something and you're actually focusing on something, you notice things a lot more easily, versus when you're just looking back on your gameplay, you don't really know what's suffering because you're just kind of looking at everything. And so unless you do something really stupid, you can obviously go back and be like, oh yeah, that was really stupid, why did I do that? But like, it's going to be really hard for you to just pick something out of the air, you know, when everything's kind of blended together, if that makes sense. Now, I don't really care for this angle too much. How did our cast die already? Where did he die at? Whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't really care for this more inward angle, unless we're gonna look for like this angle later, especially to keep something like this off. But this is something I would do more so on casts because of that flashbang, and you know, like cast is a better duelist for this kind of area. Like I would want to be playing more over here, like with my team, or even playing just something wider, something more pressurable, something where your nades get more value, because you always have your shift. The thing with Emre, you have your shift, you're unkillable, essentially. I mean, obviously you're killable, but like you can take, like it allows you, think of it as a kind of like a coach gun. Like it allows you to play more aggressively because you can disengage with it, or you know, you can engage with it. Because I see more often than not people use it as like a defensive cooldown, but there's also a lot of offensive capabilities to use it to like catch up to people on angles and stuff like that. But if you have the shift cooldown, I wouldn't be playing. This is like an anchor position that I'd like come back to. Like I'd play here, giving myself the opportunity to play over here if I need to or whatever. But I'm always a shift away. Like I can always shift to like extreme safety if I need to or whatever. Like you're way too survivable to be worried about like a dive comp like this. To be playing this far back, because ultimately, like, especially against dive, like their goal is to close distance, right? And you don't want them to do that. You are very much a stay away from me kind of character, in terms of, you know, strengths and at range. Obviously, you can still obliterate close range, but your main job, and preferably Cass as well, if he was still alive, is to keep them from closing distance. So the more space you give them for free, the more space that they don't have to use any resources, which means they can save those resources for more important space, like here, right? So like, I'm not saying we want to be on top of them, but we want to be pressuring as much space as possible, right? So by sitting on this corner, we're like, especially after our other DPSers just died, we have no pressure. So all these people are just going to walk up for free and basically save all their cooldowns until they're right on top of you, you know? And then you're just going to get rolled. Like, I can already tell you right now, there's no way you guys win this. You're going to immediately lose this point. I'd be shocked if somehow you put this. But see, like, we disengaged from a single tracer off our shift out into Narnia. Now we're gone, right? Now we're not participating. And now we don't have our defensive cooldown. So we're going to have to re-engage. Holy lag. We're going to have to re-engage without our shift, which can be very scary very quickly. Versus if we were playing up here, you know, something we could have prevented that. Or even at the very least in this room, considering our cast is dead. And then shift away to a position where we can continue fighting from without being in immediate danger because we're by our supports and we have cover, right? It's like now we're just in an extremely awkward position. Nice. I say that, like, all I'm doing there, I'm not, like, because we don't have our shift yet, like, I'm just looking for a trade. I'm looking to get, like, I wouldn't even, like, try to run away. Honestly, I would just, like, run in and look for something. Try to get some random bullshit kill for no good reason, because it's not going to matter. They're going to respawn anyway, but, just to trade myself out. Okay, our cast is finally on top of things. Now, there's also a good angle over here. This isn't terrible. It's just a bit cramped. I don't know if I want to stay in here, per se. Just because they don't have, like, a poke comp. They don't have anything that's going to really want to walk through here anyway. Most people in this comp are going to walk this way and then close this distance really easily on you. Because you just don't have a good LOS on this side. Like, if this Genji wanted to dive you, he could pretty easily right now. I mean, obviously, it's a bad idea for him to dive with this comp right here. But, like, in a situation where Doomfist comes up, you know, and these people maybe get pushed back, you die here. Right, or if it's at least if it's a decent enough Genji. Another good angle you can do is you can walk over here, get over here, obviously watch for the train, and play this angle. Because as long as you don't get hit by the train, of course, we're just a shift away. Like we're a shift away from just being safe, right? And this is a really nasty angle, especially if you do it a little bit later. Like let Doomfist kind of walk in a bit, and then bang, right? Really strong. But I don't hate what you're doing. You just be mindful of this path right here. Especially because things go wrong, like if they go sideways very quickly, which they tend to do, and everybody gets pushed back, you're up shit's creek without a paddle. You know, like you're just completely cut off. Okay, we get away with that. That was kind of murder that we just got away with. I'm not gonna lie. I like this position a lot, especially because if we set up, if we set up for this flank right here, I love this position. Oh yes, okay, beautiful, gorgeous flank. We have our ult coming up if we need it. We go in as they're engaging, so they're all like hard committed. We pull support. So I mean, it's a bit late just because of nice shots. Just because our teammates are dead, so we're not stopping anything. But luckily, we should be looking at another touch here. We won't be there, but neither will their supports. Hopefully, at least for a while. So it gives our team a chance to get their footing. I would have just gone a little bit sooner, just because our teammates were. Like instead of like dropping down here, I would have just immediately dropped and looked for this flank. Just to, because like it's just a bit late because their teammates are, or whatever, the enemy team is so fast that they're rolling our team instantly. Okay, never mind. Our teammates are losing without supports. Nice. Okay, their team is kind of feeding their brains out. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'd say. Oh, you might be going there. I mean, I would say, where is it? Here it is. I'd say I like this position a lot right here. For someone like Emre, because your regen is just so much faster. You can kind of afford to stay here without too much worry. Especially like, you know, with the Genji and Doofus, they can close distance quickly, but it's not that scary because especially with their shift, you can get out so quickly. And you just have so much like LOS on people. And that slight elevation makes you just that much harder to like engage on. Okay. Plus, it's a nice setup angle for your ult later down the line. You need to be more confident. Yeah, see, like, we can own Tracer. Like, we need to be more confident because when we're on that back foot, like, we make it harder for us to get that kill. When Tracer's like if she's like behind here, for example, I don't even really like to shift for Tracer, just because it's not that hard to hit just the normal gunshots, and they do so much damage on Tracer. Whereas the shift, it's gonna be a lot harder to land those shots because it's obviously a projectile, but like all you're going to be doing is hitting that AoE damage, and that's not really going to be enough, especially for Tracer's time to kill. Like, it's okay if you're, like, kind of low, but I wouldn't do it off rip, because you want to get that damage in as quickly as possible, and we're kind of burning that cooldown for no good reason, because Tracer still has recall. Tracer, like, you're kind of giving her a lot for not really doing much. Like, Tracer really isn't doing a whole lot to force out what she's forcing out right now. I would stand her ground a little bit more. And then make her push you, because this is like, if you just sit here, like this is gonna be really hard for Tracer to like not get shot here. Like this is a pretty, like, again, crosshair placement is a good example of, you know, a good thing to learn in this kind of scenario. You can be quite ready for her, and then you just dump nades down. Like it's gonna be really hard for her to not just eat damage on top of you, and then you always have that shift afterwards. Excuse me, to fall back on. Because, like, you're so survivable. Even if it's Genji, or even to a degree Doomfist. I mean, because we've kind of seen this Doomfist isn't very good. You can kind of get away with 1v1ing him. If it's just one of these divers, I would stand your ground here. Maybe in you know, higher games I wouldn't say so much with Doomfist. Like I'd still shoot him, but I'd be more so on the back pedal. But if it's just Genji or Tracer, I would stand my ground on Emre there. And it's always a decent idea, like, if nice nade, to like keep a nade up, like if you're in that position, that's a good like adaptation you can make. Is like, okay, I was out of nades, so I had to pop my shift pretty early, which didn't do anything. So I got kind of lucky in the sense that I was able to follow up with just primary shots and didn't need my shift cooldown. I don't like this because you can get cut off so quickly here. This is terrifying. Good ult. Let me first was saying. So good adaptation is like, okay, I was, you know, caught out by using my cooldowns early because I was supplementing the fact that I didn't have my nades, or because I kind of burned my nades early. So maybe make sure you hold your nade for when they're on top of you and just throw it down on the ground and hit a pretty easy like large nade damage, like chunk damage. That way you're not forced to pop your shift immediately. Yeah, I mean, our teammates are getting rolled. This is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's Kitsune, but still, this is rough. Like, with Orisa, like, wow, yeesh. Now, I think we should roll out high ground, honestly. Like, just, there's no real reason not to be up here at this point. Because like this is just a really powerful position and there's really nothing that they can do about it. I don't feel like there's too much of a reason to drop this early, at least, because the position's only going to get better as they walk up and get even closer. Oh, excuse me. So like okay, this nade as well, right? Like, we want to. Okay, so like the nade is so unbelievably powerful. The nade is the most underrated part of Emre's kit, I think. People always think about like his shift, obviously, and like especially back when you could just keep it infinitely, whatever. Like, but his nades are so unbelievably strong, and the way you use them is just throw them next to somebody, right? So in this case, like, because again, like when they bounce, that's when they explode, right? That's what triggers the explosion. So instead of throwing, if she's like here, don't throw the nade in, throw it like down, like into the ground here, so then it bounces up. And then this is unavoidable, this nade, for Tracer, without it being so expensive. And you're going to do... Same thing is like if she's on top of you, right? Like if there's a Tracer like on you, just throw the nade down and it'll bounce a little bit into her direction, whichever way it is. And then, because you don't have to have it on top of them to do a load of damage. Especially someone like Tracer who has a very low health bar. Like this nade that has no chance. Just throw it like here, and then it'll pop like in the rim. Like if you throw it here, it'll like pop here. Bang. She's low, right? So that's what you're looking for. You're never really looking to throw it at them. You're looking to throw it before them at the ground or on some surface or whatever and have it ricochet into their direction if possible. That's like 99% of the time I use nade. That's what I'm using it for and like how I'm using it. I mean, yeah, they just got 2 ults on us. See, but also like, because we dropped there in the first place, we put ourselves in a position to take a very disadvantaged duel against 2 targets, right? Or two DPS characters. So then we're on the back pedal immediately, and then bang, we get hit by 2 ults, right? If we're just up here, that Tracer can't get to us, so it's just gonna be Genji that we're fighting, and that's gonna be another really easy fight to take. Because again, even if Genji's like right here deflecting your face, just throw the nade at the ground and it'll pop in his face and he blows up, right? And then if Doomfist wants to ult over here, well then you're safe, right? If he wants to ult up here, then you can drop, right? Like you're just so much safer. And again, as this fight goes on, it may feel kind of bad right now when they're all like kind of over here, but especially in this dive comp, in 10 seconds they're gonna be right here, right? So this position's only gonna get better over time. Whereas pushing up is a like high risk, high reward play of like I'm gonna try and kill everybody right now. And if I don't, we lose the entire point. Now, a lot of this is pretty unfortunate just because our teammates actually blow. Like, these are... Wow. Having Cass and Orisa and failing as hard as we are to dive is unfortunate. And Mizuki, for that matter. And then we have Kiri, too. Like, so she's kind of like... So it's kind of shocking to me how bad we're struggling with this dive comp as a team. I mean, it happens, but, like, still, wow, it's kind of shocking. Just as like a default basis. Look, now we're on Cass. Beautiful, because that guy was doing air on Cass. And And it's kind of hard to make Emre work into that dive without, like, the most primary strength that Emre has against dive, like dueling dive targets, is that E. Like, the shift provides that survivability, and the AoE is nice for landing some chip damage on harder to hit targets, but ultimately it's kind of a safety net. You're losing a lot of actual value, and like time to kill and like threat, for the trade-off of higher survivability. So if you can really focus on, I'd say with Emre, focus on your nades more so, like not heavily rely, like you just spam your nades just kind of down in a choke, and it gets you some value sometimes, but it leaves you nadeless when you really should have at least a nade, and then you're forced to kind of crutch on your shift immediately. Whereas if you just kind of make sure you kind of always have a nade up at any given time. I mean, obviously, if you find an opportunity where it's a solid nade, you know, use the nade. You know, it's okay, right? Don't sit there and hold on to it for dear life. But generally trying to make sure you always have a nade up, especially if you're just spamming down a choke. Like, if I go over here, if we went back this way, right, and stayed up here longer, we don't really have to nade here super often. We can. Of course, it kind of depends, but in a dive comp scenario, again, unless we find a very specific opportunity, I wouldn't really just throw my nade to just throw my nade, because again, if somebody dives on me, being able to hold on to those nades are going to be really strong for me, because bang bang, you know, just spam the nades and they're 1 HP and I kill them, right, whoever they are, and then I keep my shift up, so then I can sit here for even longer, right? Because if I'm in that dive situation, I'm getting dove and I use all of my cooldowns, it's going to be, it's suicide to come right back, because then the next diver just dives me without cooldowns, right? And then I get traded, which is terrible for us, right? So if you get better at like focusing on being able to duel using your nades, right? Your nades are your biggest tool when it comes to actually dueling targets. Your shift is your biggest tool at getting away from targets or chasing a kill, right? Because that mobility helps you get out or helps you get in, right? But unless they're a tank, right? Like that's really where that shift shines, is like just spamming on easy targets to hit. But in a dive comp where you're fighting Tracer or Genji, it's gonna be really hard to hit consecutive direct shots over and over, which means you're gonna have to stop firing to let the thing drain a bit so you can keep shooting again, which you're just losing out on so much damage versus just getting comfortable using that nade and comboing that with just gunning them down. And your aim's phenomenal. Like you do not have to worry about your aim at all, right? You can hit these shots, so just you're nerfing yourself by using that shift and crouching on that shift. So if you just mainly focus on, did I have to nade here? Like, think about like the questions you kind of have to ask yourself if you're playing Emre and you're self-reviewing. You know, your main problem is you overshift and you under nade, right? Or I guess you over nade, but you use your nade where it's not necessary, which means you don't have your nade when it is necessary, right? So I would focus on, did I need to shift here to live? And was this nade that useful? Or could I have just kind of shot them, you know? And when they're on top of you, stuff like that, like, did I throw this nade properly? You know, like, or did I throw it too far? Or like, how could I have better thrown this nade so that it landed? Stuff like that. Because that will highly, highly increase your lethality on Emre. His nades are so powerful. Okay, so it looks like we're fighting Sigma with a Pocket Bastion. This is going to be very fun. And then we're also going to be solo healing Brig, because our Echo's going to have the Mercy. So hopefully our Echo's going to be able to deal with our Bastion, or deal with that Bastion. Our job is going to be Tracer and Mercy if we can. But it's really come down to that Echo to just hard spam. Okay, we really want to get kind of out. Now, like, it's a common thing as Cass in, like, Junker Queen comps to play with the Queen, especially with Brig, and play on that shout. But, like, in gold, I wouldn't bother playing on your tank, especially in a Bastion, like, facing Bastion or comp, whatever. You just want to get out of the way. You want to get out of that fire, and relieve pressure other ways, like by fighting this Tracer, right? Like, I want to just get out of this area and cross this way, fight Tracer, of course, get her out of the way, whatever. But I'm essentially looking to take this off angle right here, or this angle right here, whichever one is like obviously if there's a Bastion right here, I'm gonna shoot the Bastion. If I can get away with it, then I can flank. I'm like, I would really like to be here, but obviously, like, depending on what's here and what's here, you know, you just pick your poison kind of thing. But this is ultimately what I'm looking to get right now, because that we're gonna draw a lot of attention, especially because they're not very fast. Like if they have like full dive comp, then I don't want to be out here stranded by myself. I want to get dove and die immediately, right? Cass is so fragile into full dive comp, because he only has like one flash, right? Like he's great. He's a great duelist, but as soon as he's outnumbered, he's screwed. So yeah, I'd say generally like look for this angle or look for this angle or both, right? You know, you can sit on this angle, back that bastion up, and then walk up and take a better angle, and that will single-handedly allow our teammates to just walk up for free. And then we really like it's especially on this map right here. It's very important to get this outside control. We do not want to leave this area uncontested and like walk through this way. That is very bad for us. The sooner we can get this control, it's so hard for the defenders to defend this point. Once you get through that break point. A little bit of panic, it's okay. So I think here we're gonna get caught in the trap of just kind of shooting at main. Okay, Tracer just fed her into. That's huge for us. This is suicide. Oh my god. Okay, good. Beautiful. Yes. Ignore. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, we need to work on our nade. That's definitely a weak point, is learn how far our nade can go, because we're using it so far away from them. I mean, obviously, I'm sure if you get the nade perk, then you're kind of used to being able to use it a bit further, but like it's still at like reduced efficiency. We want to make sure we're landing both nades, and especially the one nade we do have when we don't have that perk. I love these off angles. Beautiful, great aim. Okay, this is getting scary. Yeah, we want to go right side here. But this is just the angle that we want to contest. Okay, 6 dead, we win. Like this overall was quite beautiful. Like we took extra time. Like the very first thing that you should want to be doing is taking this off angle here, right? Is you want to bypass that tank on any map. No matter what map it is, your goal is to take an off angle somewhere that gets around the tank and can shoot people on the side or the back, right? And so like the first thing you want to do is either get through here or through here. Obviously in this case Bastion, you're going to want to go through here first. And that helps again fighting Tracer. That's your job, blah blah. You fight her, then you win the flank from her, right? Like this is the reward for killing her, is that you get to go over here for free. And then gaining control of this area, and once you do, taking control of, you know, this angle is great. This angle is also phenomenal, whatever, right? But we want to lock these angles down quickly and don't give them up, because if they can get through here without this side pressure, they actually have a chance. Now as soon as Sigurd dies, they lose any chance of recontesting meaningfully. But I wouldn't really move from the spot. Like once you kill this Mercy, I'd just kind of back up and chill, honestly, and then just kind of keep recontesting and kind of peek out, see what I can shoot what I can, come back if I need to, whatever. And then if they start walking onto point, you have the option of either contesting from this angle or flanking, right? Just be wary of this angle, right? So if Tracer starts contesting, for example, then while all these people are looking at Tracer, Bastion can come shoot them for free, so we can stop this Bastion, right? Boom, kill him, take this 1v1, keep him off point, allow our teammates to not worry about him and just focus on Tracer. Or we can come in over here and help kill Tracer real quick, and then come over here and focus on Bastion or whatever, right? We have a lot of options. It's just kind of in the moment judgment. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I feel like you kind of have a bad habit of rolling right after you flash. Like, this is an insta-kill on Tracer is dead here 10 out of 10 times. So, by rolling here, we just throw away our hinder, essentially. I think that's a general habit you have, is just you're too like trigger happy with that shift button, whether it's on Cass or on Emre. I like this flank. I mean, it's gonna control the high ground, but like, I would want to take this flank. Like, this is, especially with Deadeye, this is beautiful. Pop Deadeye right here. You know, I love this. There's like no reason for us to not do that. And like we don't have to. The great thing about our copper now here is like we don't have to care about Tracer really right now, because Tracer doesn't really kill anybody here that we need to care about. Brig should be fine, Queen is fine, Echo should be fine, and Mercy should be fine with Echo. Or if she's on us, then she's on us. You know, then it doesn't matter because Tracer will come to us. Like, yeah, it's like there's nothing that Tracer can really do but try and fight us. You know, which is exactly how that should go 10 out of 10 times. So we don't really have to worry about Tracer. That's what we have to worry about is their tank. So if we can get around their tank by going high ground, getting a free Deadeye, then that's what we should be doing. Now that was a fat Queen ult. But we kind of like, we get lucky here, right? This is just gold players golding all over the place. And that allows us to win the fight because Tracer Fetter Brains out. We get res from Sigma owning us. Queen hits a fat ult, and then we just run them down because they have nothing for it, right? Because you killed their Kyrie and they use Suzu or whatever. I don't know, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this wasn't really us. Like, we hit some nice shots, you know? Like, your aim is really good. But ultimately, we're just punishing them for doing stupid things. But if we just go for this flank off rip, then we just win the fight on our own terms right then and there. You know, we're forcing this to happen. Like, we're just going to win off this. You kill two guaranteed. Maybe you die for the third, but then that third dies, and then you guys just walk up and kill everybody, and then just cap, right? And then, you know, worst case scenario, they get another touch. Well, we now have Queen ult, we have Copy, we have Valk. You know, we didn't need to use those 3 ults. And then still have to walk up and push this kind of thing, right? Like, so, like, this is something that we could do to carry more lobbies, where it's less decisive of like where you might feel like, oh, like some games I can do really well, you know, and we're rolling them, and then some games it feels like, you know, my team can't do anything, you know, or we can't walk or whatever. It's like, this is you relying on something happening for you to act and for you to then get value and win fights. But a flank like this is the initiator, right? You open things up, and this is a carry play. This is a play that you do that will carry more games, where, yeah, maybe if you don't do this, you get lucky and your teammates do stuff that actually makes things work, or the enemy does stupid shit that allows you to punish them or whatever. But, you know, in Platinum, Diamond, whatever, like, those things, like, you're essentially relying on chance, right? You're rolling the dice every time. And the higher you go, the more dice you're rolling and having to hit, right? So the chances are not in your favor the higher and higher you go. And that generally leads to heavy plateauing, where you start to get to certain thresholds, especially gold to plat is a pretty brutal threshold. And then plat to diamond's even worse. Where you're going to have some games where you can get away with stuff like this, and other games where the enemies just never give you that rope. You know, they never give you that extra foot to stand on, so to speak. And this is what you have to do to make up for it. And the beautiful thing about flanking like this is it works all the time, right? It works no matter what. Now, obviously, there's execution and it can fail, right? But I mean, like, you're not relying on things to happen. You know, the game just plays normally. You don't need the enemies to do something stupid. You don't need your teammates to do something insane. The enemies are going to be standing here 9 times out of 10. Obviously, there's always some niche case scenario, or they may do something insane. And, you know, there's always, like, a matter of chance that something can fail, right? Whether on your own execution or on someone else doing something really good, whatever, right? But you're rolling significantly less dice, so the chances are a lot higher, and you're bringing more agency to the game on your own side. You're taking more control over the lobby, and you're saying, I'm going to make this thing happen, rather than saying, oh, this thing's happening, let me make something out of it, right? And you're creating pressure, right? Like, something like this is like heavy pressure. This is creating heavy pressure, and this is your job on DPS, is to create pressure, right? And that forces mistakes to happen, whether the enemies want to make it or not, right? Here, the enemies were under no pressure. They folded under 0 pressure, they say. This Tracer came in here, you didn't know that she was there, and till it was too late, you just got lucky that she missed the nade. You know, the pulse bomb, whatever, and then you just own her because, of course, you did. Tracer was Fredder brains out, right? And the enemy, Sigma immediately rolls at you, but you get res, like, you get away with it. Or your Mercy gets away with resing you, and then you come in with a Queen ult and you just roll them back, kind of thing, right? Like, again, it's reliant on a lot of people doing things, but flanking like this forces those kinds of outcomes, regardless of the skill of the players that you're playing against. So you're gonna have less opportunities. The enemies are gonna give you less opportunities to do what you just did, essentially. And the beautiful thing is, again, like, those plays will work regardless, kind of thing. You don't, it's not like, oh, the enemies, like, even if you didn't do that, you know, 9 times out of 10, you would get an opportunity to do what you did. Like, you can still, even in gold lobbies where you could probably get away with just being here like this, you can still go flank and make these scary plays regardless. Like, there's no reason not to, kind of thing. Okay, let's go back. Okay, it's gonna take this fight with the Tracer. I just wouldn't do it in this room. Like, I would, like, as soon as you lose that flashbang, I'm out. Like, this is just a bit too scary for me to fight because I'm completely cut. Like, where is my team? I don't know, you know? And it's so easy to get completely cut off, especially on cast. On Emre, you can maybe get away with this because you always have your shift, you can kind of get away. But on cast, your flashbang is your lifeline. So as soon as, especially that Suzu, like, oh, that's so, like, you're not rolling away from this one, you know? So unless you have confirmation that your teammates are right next to you kind of thing, I wouldn't go for this kind of play. Because you're kind of begging for that to happen. Unless you do something insane, right? Like, you're just making it a lot harder for yourself. The Tracer's bad, but, like, you know, it's not like that she, like, was better than you, per se. It's just you did something that handed her the keys to your kingdom, so to speak, you know? You did everything for her to have an easy time killing you. So this fight's over, so I wouldn't worry about participating here. Okay, I take it back. Rallying, I guess. Good kill. Like, I don't know what that rally was, but we can't do anything about it. Like, in this case, this will happen a lot on casts, especially if you flank more often. There will be times where you just get caught out and die. Or there will be times where your flank just takes so long, by the time you get to your flank, your teammates are dead. Instances like this are where you need to get good at recognizing when the fight's over, right? Even like with Brig Rally, I still wouldn't have fought this, honestly. Just because there's no way that you're getting anything here with Rally. It's just a shit rally. So you need to be able to recognize, okay, these people are dead, like, we're going to lose this fight. We're just going to lose this fight. It's okay. So instead of going and participating in the fight that's already lost and then dying in again, take this time to set up, because especially someone like Cass is very slow. Like, take this time to go up and set on some kind of flank, whatever, wherever you can kind of get to, even if it's like over here, something stupid, even like, not stupid as in like get you killed stupid, but stupid as in like egregiously, like, how the hell did you get here kind of thing. Because what it does is it like gives you new options for the next fight. You guarantee the next fight win because you're in some place that they should never expect you to be in. Especially on certain maps that don't have flank routes like this. This is a beautiful flank route to take to win this point, right? Bang, right? Like, this is a beautiful flank route. Not every map has a flank route like this. This is a very attack-friendly hybrid map, which is honestly a first of its kind. So, like, there's a lot of flank routes that you can exploit, but on maps that don't have these routes, you have to take what you can get. And so sometimes you have to take what isn't a flank route, but is unoccupied for the moment, right? Like, in this moment, like, nothing's happening, so you can get away with just kind of walking over here, letting your teammates die, because they're going to die regardless whether or not you're there. It doesn't matter, right? And then now you open yourself up for the ability to flank, right? Because you're already flanking, right? It's just a matter of waiting for everybody to respawn, waiting for the game to kind of happen. And then you could kind of walk over here and look for something if they're fighting here, or like if they're holding up here. You might even find an opportunity to C9 the card as cast, right? Like, these are the opportunities that you need to ask yourself, right? Like, in the moment where, like, okay, this fight's over, like, I'm dead, we just lost the other person, Mercy's gonna, like, no one's dead on their team, we've lost this fight. There's nothing that I can do to come in and fix this. There's no hero play. Even with Rally, there's no real hero play. Versus, like, the chances of the Rally paying off, even with me participating, are lower than my flank paying off if I just sit here and wait and then come in with the next fight on this insane flank, you know? So I would look for some kind of flanks. I mean, I would be scared to go here just because I would be scared of that Tracer. But, like, again, like, sitting in this room like this, just as a way to hide, and then kind of seeing where the enemy set up, and then you can do some kind of flank based off of that. And again, like, if they get really greedy and start going over here again, then this is just a free C9. Same thing is, like, if they do that again, like, notice you can come in from this side and just bypass their entire team and possibly C9, whatever, right? But these are things that you have to think about in cast to make up for your lack of mobility. And you might be able to get, this is beautiful. Oh my god, this is beautiful. See, like, you might even be able to get away with, like, half participating by shooting and then just kind of disappearing. I've done that 1,000 times and people just kind of forget. But this is actually gorgeous from you. Holy cow, I can't believe that. This is a gorgeous play from you. You were probably actually like absolutely like laughing, like kicking yourself about how yeah, I'm sitting here like harping on this, going in this room, and you go in here the whole time. So like the Tracer did know that you were like, she knew something was up because you killed her. Nice. So the problem is like now, because we did participate, like that's the biggest mistake that we made, was just killing that Tracer. And that's what it means, like we have to prioritize this because that Tracer knows something's up. Tracer died to you. She knows like where'd that cast go. So she's gonna be looking around. So we get the kill, which is good, and trading it because now they won't have res for it. But we're gonna die for this, which means we're still kind of leaving it for our teammates. We're putting our teammates in an insanely good position. In what universe outside of us doing this would we kill Tracer and have Sigma be over here while the teammates are walking up and these 3 people are without a tank, right? Like, you've put these people in an actually insane position. So, like, I would be shocked if our teammates lose this, but they are still, again, we're still rolling the dice, right? We set up variables very nicely in our favor, but we're still ultimately rolling the dice. No way we get out. No way we get out. Oh my god, that's insane. Oh my god, that's actually insane. I'm actually kind of in awe right now that we get away with that. Okay, so we just need to start flanking more. If we can get away with stuff like this, we need to start doing more stuff like you need to be, because your aim is phenomenal. Like, you just need to start flanking every chance you get. I don't care where, when, whatever. Just start flanking crazy style until they start punishing you. Obviously, eventually you'll get to a point where they're gonna start like really punishing you, which is you to actually like kind of go back to being more like patient and cautious about how you're flanking. But if you can get away with that, then we gotta start pressing more. We gotta start forcing them to actually deal with us. I'd walk up. I'd like, especially with Dead, like that's another thing is like, especially on payload maps, whether it's escort, and this is another thing, especially because I know you don't like escort maps. In most escort maps, they don't have angles, which is pretty much all escort maps. You and all hybrid maps, like everybody, it's so even in my lobbies, I see this. People are terrified to take free space. Terrified, just because it's not like right next to the cart. Like, people will sit here and do nothing and just wait for the enemies to respawn and fight them here, instead of doing like what your tank's doing, where you're like, this is beautiful, come over here, this space is free, take it, take the space. What are they gonna do about it? Take it, make them fight for it. Like, instead of like sitting here and having to fight them for the space and then fight and then fight and fight tooth and nail, take it when they give it to you, right? Like, that is the like, this map is, especially because it's so attacker friendly, you can get it, like, it's so hard to defend this map. But even like, especially the more defensive maps, Dorado, you know, Eichenwald, whatever, right? Like, those maps have, like, it is so hard to lose fights on defense. Like, it happens, but like, you have such an advantage on defense, especially after first point is capped. The space is astronomically defensive side, right? Like a defender advantage side. And so the cost for losing the point is that the attackers get to come in and take that space first for free, right? When you, I mean, it depends on if, like, when they down cart, but like, think of like, you know, Eichenwald or again Dorado. You know, after we cap first point, for example, whatever, instead of just sitting on the cart and then letting the enemies respawn and take the high ground and then fighting the high ground from the severe low ground, walk up and take the high ground and then fight them from the high ground. Because especially on attack, you always want to be fighting while the cart's pushing. The defenders always want to be fighting while the cart's stalled, right? Because that clock is going to be taken regardless. So if you can sit there and take a forward position and fight them here, even if you die up here, whatever, like, the cart is pushing for free versus being right here, getting here, and then now we're getting stalled out, right? Like, just take this space, make them take it back. Like, it is so unbelievably free. Especially on cast, you need to take this early, right? Even if you want to sit up here and wait and do nothing, right? If that's your play and you want, you know, the enemies to back your team up so you can go for a really nice Deadeye, go for it, right? Or you can come up here and look for a Deadeye. go for it. Drop Deadeye, whatever. I don't care. Just get over here somewhere. Get around into a useful position that will set us up for later. Like, we need to be hungry with these angles. Especially on a map like this where they give you so many. So, like, if you're this... wow. If you're this scared to flank... Which, to be fair, you are less scared than most that I see the flanking. But, like, this is such a juicy time to look for just a free angle, right? Again, it's like about... You want to take these angles regardless of where the enemies are, right? Obviously, you know, you don't want to take an angle that if the enemy's right in between you, you're just going to get caught out kind of thing. But, like, you shouldn't be like, oh, this angle is not useful right now because, like, the enemies aren't there yet kind of thing. I shouldn't go there. Or whatever your thought process is, right? You need to just be more hungry. So, because if you're not doing it here on a map like this, where it's like given to you on a silver platter, I'm not surprised at all that you struggle on escort maps and maps where they really don't give you a whole lot of wiggle room. You have to be crafty in how you take angles, because a lot of times you don't get them for free. A lot of times you don't get a lot of off angles and things that you can take without being a hard flanker like Tracer or Genji or whatever. So you have to take what you can get, and when you get something, you have to take it. When you win a fight, take what space you've earned, you know, and then fight for it that way. Like, instead of sitting there and giving it back to them for free. That is how you snowball, and that is how you carry and stop yourself from getting stalled. And worst case scenario, you die anyway and get stalled out anyway. There's virtually no risk. Okay, this is hard feeding for the enemy team. Good kill. Like, these people are awful. You are significantly better than them. I don't know why you're in this rank. I mean, usually it's because you don't play enough. When I see people who can play well enough like this, or maybe this is an ego VOD. You know, I don't know. Maybe you've kind of cherry picked this, but like the thing is, you're making good plays. Now, maybe you're hitting shots that you wouldn't normally hit, but still, you're going for flanks that I would be going for. Not all the time, right? I'd be going for more flanks, generally speaking, and taking more positions, but you're still taking significantly more flanks and positions that I've ever seen from a gold player. And usually when that's the case, it's because you just don't play enough. You just need to play more games. Nice. So even if you play particularly well this game, like... You're still making decent enough decisions, right? It's just you gotta do it. You gotta have more confidence in those decisions. This is good. I would still hold this. Okay, that's a terrible deny. Because here you're so unpressured. Like, you have the very rare opportunity of just being able to sit here and just sleep on this Deadeye. Just completely run it through. Like, there's no reason to shoot it this early. Just keep it. Let the suck run out. Worst case scenario, you shoot the shield or whatever, you know, if he pops it back up. But you're forcing him to use so many cooldowns. And there you obviously shooting his suck, you're giving him all that health. So he's terrified. If I just peek back out. This kid is awful. Okay, so like here, like, why do we give this up? That Genji has failed to dive you twice. I know it's scary because you're kind of low, but this Genji has burned both cooldowns and he's yet to be able to do anything really to you. Like, there's no reason not to sit here, because worst case scenario, you could just sit here and chill. Because you didn't burn your flash, you know, you held onto it, which is good. And so we just chill here. We just live. And now that Genji can't afford to come to us anyway, there's no reason to drop and play this angle down here. It's just a worse angle and makes us more vulnerable. Not that it matters. We're going to win this fight anyway, but it's, you know, still learn what you can. Especially on something like Cass, you have to be a bit more cautious with giving up high ground. Now, I'm not saying you should never give up high ground, but I'm saying think it through before just dropping, because you can't get it back. A lot of characters, like Ashe, for example, can get the high ground back. You know, you can drop and always come back. Cass, sometimes it's a journey to get back to where you just dropped from. So, be careful. Nice shots. So in situations like this where we're still kind of losing here, like, we need to start putting the pedal to the metal. And I mean that as in be more aggressive, take more aggressive flanks, especially in a game like this where they have given us so much reason to not respect them at all. We should be absolutely spitting on their grave right now, with how egregious we've been able to be without getting punished. So we need to be. This is where we need to say, I'm the carry. I'm gonna do everything. I'm going to win this fight single-handedly. And I don't mean that as in start egoing your teammates or like sit there and give up because, you know, you can't do everything and your teammates are useless or whatever, right? Like, obviously that's terrible mental. I see that as that you need to sit there and say, okay, my goal is I need to be the one to open things up. I need to take an off angle because otherwise the game's done. You lose, right? If you sit there and do nothing and just shoot down main, you lose the game, right? If you think about it that way, then you say, what really is there risk-wise if I flank, right? If I flank and die, so what? At least it's either I die or I open us up and we win the fight, right? The alternative to that risk is we just lose the game. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, no, it's better to die and eventually win, especially on attack, because you just kind of want to throw your spawns right there, just throw yourself at them. You know, obviously not literally, but like, don't be scared to die on attack. You know, run out there, get off angles, be aggressive. You know, save time because you're on a time clock. There, you know, like you cannot sit there and just, you know, twiddle your thumbs. You got to get in there. So I want to see you immediately, especially because it worked so beautifully last time. You should be looking to replicate this flank, right? Obviously, there's a Sombra somewhere around here, but I would be looking to replicate this flank because it works so well. Because even if you don't know that this is what you should be doing, last time you did this, it worked really well. So you should at least try to go back to what worked first and do it now as soon as possible, and then adapt to what you need to.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'd have to be invited first. 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective.
Like, I don't hate that. Like, we're way too scared here because like we definitely just missed out on an opportunity to kill that ram. Like, I don't hate this, but I don't want to sit here. Like, I would even like jump over and roll and just gun this soldier down. Like, because I need to open things up, and that ram also uses his nem form. He's not gonna be able to run over to me, kind of thing. Like, you can just dick on this soldier. But this is like the thing is like we're playing so scared. I'm actually shocked you're doing this. We're playing so scared for no reason at all. Especially because we're at such a time disadvantage. We cannot sit here and play like the waiting game on our health bar. And like hoping every time we peek out, we do this with like, you know, 50% damage reduction because of our fall off. Like, we need to get in there. Why are we not here with this Reaper running this soldier down, killing this Mercy, walking up and just dicking on them, you know? We need the deadly part. We need to be the deadly kitten. We can't just sit here and be a kitten. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, I'm kind of begging for healing over here, but like, whatever. We win the fight. Oh, yeah, you barely even had to do anything, right? Because your Reaper went in there, like, you kind of got away with not having to do a whole lot. But, again, we're relying on our teammates to, like, kind of do it for us. We're waiting for our big bro to, like, kind of, you know, order our fast food for us kind of thing. It's like, no, like, get up there and talk to the server yourself kind of thing, you know? Like, be the change you want to see in the world, right? You should be the one leading that charge. Especially because you don't have to, like, be as close as Reaper does. Reaper has to really get in there, but, like, you didn't have to actually jump in. Like, you could just come here and look for this angle on soldier. This is all. You don't have to be, like, on him kind of thing. But you can take this fight so quickly. Like, this is a fight we should be taking within 10 seconds of the match starting. Or the round starting, whatever. Or, you know, give or take, depending on how quickly you can get here, just with as slow as cast is. But, like, literally, like, we should be speed running, getting here, lickety split, fighting this soldier. Like, that is immediately what we're looking to do. And open that angle up. I actually say we could have fought him there if we weren't so scared, because we kind of took a free hit. Like, I don't know where we're... Like, we should be just gunning him down right now. Like, instead we're doing that. That got us killed. I think otherwise we could have actually just gunned him down with just pretty free hit, because he's pretty low, and he's not hard to headshot. Like, I have full faith that you could have easily headshot them there. And then you have the roll into the right click. I think you easily could have just gunned him down and dicked on him. Not gonna lie. But... that's me. But you either need to commit to running or commit to shooting him there. I think in that situation, you're not getting away with that flank. You just kind of have to gun him down. Just because the opportunity is there. If he's full HP, then yeah, okay, run, waste his time. But there I actually think I can kill him. And the risk is worth it. because you also have to think about like I'm looking to win a fight, right? The whole point of flanking up here is I'm looking to like look for a fight win early, kind of thing, right? But this random is kind of handing it to you on a silver platter. Why not take it here? You know what I mean? The opportunity is given to you, punish it, and then you always have this as a backup kind of thing, for next fight, if you get one. And also, like, I see, like, you don't really use Deadeye very often, and I can't really blame you because Deadeye is a dog shit ultimate, but you have to think of Deadeye as more of, like, an extension to your flank, right? You can be more kind of aggressive in how you flank with Deadeye, right? Like, again, for example, like, taking a flank like this, right? And then just shooting 3 people right here is kind of scary to do without Deadeye, right? You can still do it, and it's still very powerful, and you should still go for it, because you can get a kill for free, at least, and then you gain 2 people's attention, and, like, it's just so disruptive. But with Deadeye, you're looking at least 2 kills, maybe you get, you know, a lucky third, you know, whatever kind of thing. It's so, and then you are immediately ready to go, cooldowns, and, you know, whatever, right? So we should always be looking for, like, because also, again, like, if you only ever flank with Deadeye, it's the same thing as if you only ever TP in when you're going to Blossom, every time you TP in, people are expecting a Blossom. So if you only ever flank when you have Deadeye, then people are going to be expecting a Deadeye, you know? But if you're always flanking all the time, Deadeye isn't really a factor of like, oh, does he have Deadeye, does he not? It's just like, Deadeye is just an extension of your already lethal flanks. Like, the Deadeye is not making a flank work or not, it's just making it more efficient and defining how much you can get off of that flank. Okay, we're a little lost. That's unfortunate. I like what we're going for there. I think it's just a bit late. And yeah, and I think like, I don't know if you like how good your audio setup is or whatever, but I think we got a little like lost directionally on which way he was gonna go. Especially because I think when you're low, you start to panic a bit. But I think we totally could have just killed that soldier if you just kind of keep your calm a little bit with your health. But to be fair, it wouldn't matter. Even if you kill that soldier there, the ram kills 4 of your teammates. Like, it's not gonna matter that much. But it is an important thing to know how to do is defend yourself on cast when people are pushing you, especially when you're low. You are so dangerous. There is probably... I mean, this is a hefty statement, but I feel fairly confident in saying there is no DPS scarier than Cass in terms of pushing around a corner into him. Like, being a DPS character and pushing around a corner into a Cassidy is a death sentence. And there's very few other characters that rival him in that sense. Because again, good crosshair placement, you have your flash ups, their health bar just depletes. It's gone. And that's Cass's strength, right? Is like, if you can focus on not improving your aim per se. I mean, obviously you should always be looking to improve your aim, but make your shots easier to land. And that's why we take off angles. So we're making our shots more efficient by not shooting into a shield or shooting an easy target that doesn't care about getting shot. Like that Doomfist blocking that we just charged up, you know. This Doomfist is... Why is he on Doomfist, dude? I don't get it. He's awful. But looking to bypass those things and shoot the squishy, soft parts of their team, you know. But doing it so that they don't know that we're there, so we get free shots on them. You know, we have the same impact, but it's just so much easier. I like this. We're kind of all over the place, which is good. Like, we're taking an angle, using it up. There's nothing really left on the angle, so we move. This is beautiful. Keep it up. I would step back up. Yeah, exactly. I'd step back up here in this middle part. Because we already have that Reaper holding that left side room. We don't need to be here. Because I know I said before that Cass wants to sit there, but like, okay, well, obviously Reaper just ate shit, but we can utilize that open area more so than that Reaper can. And that Reaper can hold down that locked room. Okay, we're looking to just die and get a kill. Nah, all good. I think there, like, there's little we can do because Reaper ate shit, but I think we're just a bit too, like, kind of hesitant to do anything. We're kind of, like, sitting back here. As soon as someone dies, you just back up and stop being a player. You just start spectating. As soon as someone dies, you just immediately become a spectator. So essentially, as soon as your DPS feeds, they get a 2-for-1 combo. Because as soon as they get that kill on Reaper, you forfeit the match, you know, or forfeit that fight. So we need, that's when we need to be more aggressive. We need to look for a trade. If our Reaper dies, we need to go, we're in go mode. Because if we don't, we just lose anyway. So again, it's that like, where's the risk if we're going to lose as an alternative? We might as well look for something. If we die, we die. Who cares? You know, we got to look for something to like try and flip this fight. But if we just keep backing up, we give our team 0 chance of flipping this fight. See how immediately, like, just nothing. We've done nothing, right? Like, we hit, like, 1 shot, whatever. Like, immediately how much value we've diminished by just walking back the way that we did. Versus that first fight when we're, like, on top of them, just gunning them down or whatever. Like, yeah, you're down Reaper, but you still have both your supports. You don't need your Reaper to do what you were doing, you know? Beautiful TP from Gary, holy. Again, generally speaking, I prefer to play this angle when they don't really have anyone I'm worried about. Like, Genji's on the car, even Genji wants to push me. Like, this is not... I'm not scared of Genji, and you shouldn't be scared of Genji. And if you are scared of Genji, you need to fight more Genjis and build up your confidence. But this is a beautiful angle to take, right? Beautiful Deadeye. If, like, I wouldn't use Deadeye here just because it doesn't really matter because their spawn's right there and the time's ticking now. But if they were in overtime, this would be a great Deadeye, right? But it's just about bypassing that tank, right? Because tank's up here, bang. What tank, right? There's no tank. And if the tank wants to run over here, well, then now there's just a gap that he's left behind that my teammates, if they want to, can walk up and fight, whatever. It just weakens their position. Versus here, we do very little damage and can't do anything, and the first person we see is their tank. At best, we get some kind of fight on the soldier, which Reaper's already taken care of, right? So, like, we just don't want to be here. We don't want to be stacked on our DPS if we can help it, especially. But essentially, like, we're in the poke phase, right? We're just kind of waiting for something to happen, and that's all we can do. Like, we can't really force things to happen, per se. I mean, we could maybe look for some kind of crazy, you know, flank or whatever, but, like, what's the point? You know, because we're on defense, like, we can't... They have too much time, and their spawn's right there. This is insanely high risk for very little reward. Like, even if we kill everybody, great, whoop-de-doo. They're going to respawn, come right back. But for the risk is we're going to die, now we're down cast, and they just walk up for free kind of thing. Especially on such an already defensive, or an offensive sided map like this one. There's no reason to risk this early. If you have the control, use it while you have it. You know, you only need to take risks when you have less control, right? When you're down, you know, that's because when you have less to lose, you have more to put on, you have more to gain, right? You know, if you're the man that has nothing to lose kind of thing. So essentially what I'm setting up for is eventually they're going to go around this corner. And when they do, this becomes a very deadly flank very quickly. That's when we need to win, right? This is the decisive moment. Like, teams right here, enemy team, or your teammates right here kind of thing. Like, this is the decisive moment of when the fight happens, right? Last time, like, on offense, you won this fight because the enemies fed the brains out kind of thing. You know, so, like, this is, like, kind of where we're waiting for this fight to happen. Because this is when it starts to get away from the car. And, like, if they fight here, then this is, like, very bad space for us to lose. Right? Like, we cannot afford to lose this fight here. So we can let them walk up, get a little bit more time, because the time should take down anyway, and that's when we look to explode. Because that's when us winning the fight gets the most value. But as, you know, being over here and coming down here, like, you might be able to find something here. I don't hate this. This is not bad. It's very easy to die here and get collapsed on. You know, it can happen, so it's scary, but you got to make something happen, and you can't afford to walk over here anyway, or at this point now. I mean, you could have if you just went back this way, but whatever. But dropping is like, okay, we have no real choice now. And also it becomes an inside angle, which is scary because as this comes forward, the cast in here, it's a lot easier to get cut off and just kind of get, like, consumed from all angles. But from, like, being over here, it's just like, it's one of those angles where it's very, like, low risk, zero reward, right? But ultimately that is high risk because you're getting no reward. You're not dying, but you're not doing anything. And again, you also have to think, like, I'm the one that has to do everything. So even if, like, in this scenario, like, I'm like, I have to be the carry here, I have to win the fight, you don't have to win it right now, right? Like, the way that you do that is, like, let the poke phase happen and then just come out, bang, right, kind of thing, as they, like, kind of walk around. That's what I'm looking for. That's the fight win that I'm looking for, because it's gonna happen. Because if this doesn't happen, then we just win the game, right? But eventually, no matter what, you know, unless we win the game, otherwise in case it doesn't matter or whatever, this card's going to come forward and the backline's going to be more like here, right? That's going to have to happen. And when that does, I can exploit it, right? That is, I'm not gambling on anything. The only thing I'm gambling on, I guess, is like whether or not it works, right? But I don't hate this. See, but like this is just more work, right? And then now they LOS you out, and now our daddy's dead, right? I mean, we're killing this Genji because this Genji's an ass, and you just turn around and kill him. But like, we're doing all this for what we could have done here, and how much like if we just go back, like to say like when you wanted a Deadeye. Plus, like here, it's such a shorter flank, you have control over when you do it. You can do it now, you can do it 10 seconds from now, you do it 20 seconds from now. But here, you're at the mercy for however long it takes you to get here. Now we can do it. But anytime before that, we can't do it. So if we need to do it, we end up being too late sometimes. You know, it's a high risk of that happening. But if we're just here, chilling, right? We can wait, peek out, see a little bit. Bang. Pop that eye now. You know? We control a lot more territory that way. And we're also caught out of territory. Like, look how much farther we have to go now. Right? We're out of the fight forever, essentially. The outcome of this fight is out of our hands at this point. We're relying on our teammates to fight without us and hope that the Genji kill was enough. But if we came back here, right, we have like this reset position or whatever. Now from here we have options of doing whatever we want to do, and we can re-engage if we need to, which we do. So we win. Oh, what are they doing with that Ram ult? So we win with Queen ult, but I think we could have won that with just Deadeye. I think if we just positioned ourselves better, we could have gotten a much nicer flank. Because it's not like we have to pop Deadeye immediately. Like, we can walk out here, look for a headshot on somebody, and then pop Deadeye or whatever. Like, I feel like we could have won this fight. And not to say that Queen won't just Queen ult anyway. Your teammates are going to do what they do. Like, you can't control what they do, but you can at least control this as best you can, the situation that they're in order to kind of manipulate a certain outcome, right? So, like, if you make it so that the fight's clearly already over, you know, if you can help it, then you have a higher chance of that Queen saying, I don't need to ult, right? Obviously, again, if she does ult, it's still on her, and even if, you know, whatever, it's always her choice, right, at the end of the day. But that is a nice side effect of having better flanks and better actual uptime, you know, better engagements when you execute, is you save resources. That's kind of the point, right? Is the more you do, the less your teammates have to do, which means in the long run, the more your teammates have when you need it, when you really need it, you know? And so you kind of get bailed out by the fact that the Ram just popped his ult for zero reason. But going into this basically last fight, because they win here, they just cap ultimately, right? With a full minute left, if you're down Queen ult and they have Ram ult and Kitsune and Valk and Blade, and you have Window, Blossom, and just a mirror Kitsune, you're going to lose the game off that. Absolutely, you're going to lose the game off that. So, like, this is a point where we have to try to make things work. Again, we cannot control what our Queen does, but we can give ourselves a higher chance, you know. Okay, be careful taking a more aggressive position when you don't have supports and you're not playing like an off angle. Because it's a great way for them to snowball off with their Ram's absolutely awful ult. Because the Queen's half and she's going in, she's dead. This Queen is dead. I'd be shocked for her to live here. But it's very possible that this terrible, absolutely awful tank ult gets value because you guys play like you have supports when you don't, and they just walk up and then you just take permanent damage. You just literally, every damage you take is just permanent, and you just die. And then you stagger, and then now your supports are coming back and having to defend the card 2v5. Okay, she gets out of this. And the soldier's not there to punish. Oh, no, she's still dead. Okay, she goes back in, I guess. Sure. And she's still alive. Okay. Wow. Okay, this is, wow. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. This is, wow. This is like the gold experience right here. Is like, this Queen is 1 HP. They have no supports, and we're absolutely just circle jerking the backline. What are we doing, red team? just walk the hell up and murder her. What? Wow. I am shocked. And then your carry now has to come in and bail her out and then dies for it. That is insane. I mean, we lose this game for sure. There's no way we don't. Nice. So even now, right? Even now, this is a great opportunity to look for a flank as well. I mean, the window's good, but like this is a very powerful. I'll probably do it from here at this point, but even just dropping down and just kind of suiciding a cart looking for something, you know, like you have to kind of get stuff going here, because I'm terrified. Once this window goes down, we just lose the game. Like they're gonna pop later, we just lose. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, like, you're definitely a much better player than most of these people. I mean, you definitely make, like, plays that... Or, the main thing is you kind of don't make certain plays. How long do we stall this? Maybe looking at that soldier. Eh. How long is it stalled for? This is egregious. Oh, she gets Kiri. And then she C9s. That's how you... What? What? That's how you lose that, is because she... Not because she dies, because she C9s, because she ults. Wow, what a game. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, we lose a lot of value, or bleeding value ultimately, because we're kind of stagnant. Especially because, like, you do flank more often than a lot of gold players I see. A lot of gold players will just sit in main and shoot the tank the whole game. So that's really good, and your aim is phenomenal. Or maybe it was a cherry pick bot, I don't know, but you have all the tools necessary to just start flanking. Like, just try to sit there and take as many flanks as you're allowed. And I'd rather you flank too much than flank not enough. Especially in these lobbies, you can get away with so much egregious shit. Punish them for it. Make them do something about you, right? And worst case scenario, they do. You know, it's not the end of the world if you die on a flank. You know, it happens. So just be hungry. Have that hunger for those off angles. Take those fights on people that aren't looking at you. Because ultimately that's what you're looking to do. You're looking to open up space, especially like that first point left side. I'll like exit out and go back in. That first point left side, like that is I am so hungry. I see that and my stomach is rumbling. I just want to get in here and I just want to open this up. Like, this is such a free fight. I want to get in here. I want to take this soldier out and I want to open this up. That is like my food right there. That's breakfast, you know, like this is this saturates me, you know, like so you just need to be more hungry to open space up. Like, that is your job, right? Is ultimately you control space, right? Tanks can hold space and reduce pressure, but your job is to add pressure, right? And apply that pressure. So the best thing you can do is bypass that tank, whose job is to sit there and take bullets from you, even if their tank is dog shit and feeds as much as their Doom does. You're relying on that Doom. You got away with a lot of doing nothing by shooting their tank because their tank is dog shit, and their tank just kind of lets you kill them, and feeds their brains out. You've won a lot of that fight. This match went so much further than it should have because their tank is so much worse. Because the plays that you were making weren't enough. Compared to, like, you just won enough fights where you just kind of shot the tank, right? Because they died. But you cannot rely on that. And even if their tank is feeding, it doesn't matter, because again, the great thing about this, we kill this soldier and we walk up and open this up. Even if the tank is, if we were just hitting the main killable, that's a gamble that we don't have to take, because this works every time, right? Regardless if the tank's feeding his brains out or not, we kill his backline, he's going to be feeding regardless. That's the whole point, right? It doesn't matter what tank it is. If they don't have a backline, they're feeding. They're going to be feeding their brains out. That's just how tank works. Very rarely are you able to get away with just gunning the tank down through both supports. And so if we're sitting here relying on that to happen, we're gonna be stuck in gold a long time, because as soon as you start getting into plat, like, you're gonna find a lot less tanks fucking up their disengagements, as much as that Doom was. So we need to be forcing things to happen. Like, this is a forcing play, right? Taking these off angles and flanks are forcing plays, which means it doesn't matter how good they are, you're forcing shit to happen. You're forcing a response, you're forcing some kind of value. Even if you don't kill anybody, you get them all to turn around and gun you down, that's at least some seconds you're taking away from them shooting you here and gunning you down through main anyway, kind of thing, you know, like, and obviously there's, again, a level of execution. You may not make these flanks work all the time, but the better you can get at making them work, the more games you'll carry easily. Because it's all about just making the game easier for you, right? Like, your job is to make their lives a living hell and make their lives harder, right? That's your job. That's what pressure does. Pressure is difficulty, and difficulty is discomfort, and discomfort is mistakes and making bad decisions and losing, right? So we get comfortable doing this, we make them uncomfortable, we make it impossible for them to hold space and territory. They keep backing up, keep playing back and passive like you were, right? I mean, you did it unnecessarily. You were expecting them way too much and backing up. But essentially, regardless of if a DPS player makes this mistake too early, if you make this play, it doesn't matter, because they have no choice. Because if they don't, they die, right? So you're forcing them. You know, the analogy I like to use very often is the Ana nade, right? A good Ana will always be sitting there landing every anti-nade possible on your tank. Bang, bang, bang. Tank is always antied. Huge nades, always dying. It sucks for your team, right? But if you flank her and you force her to throw her nade at herself, it is the same thing as a like gold Ana who throws her nade at her own tank or at her own team as a crutch for her bad aim, right? It's a mistake for you as an Ana to supplement you missing shots with having to throw your nade, or maybe you whiff your nade and so it does nothing, kind of thing. It's the same amount of value, it's the same outcome. That nade is wasted and gone. But the difference is you're not relying on the Ana to do something stupid. It doesn't matter how good that Ana player is. They're going to have to nade themselves. You're forcing them to nade themselves. They're going to have to do it. Otherwise, they die. In which case, they're dead. And their nades doesn't do them any good if they're dead, right? So the outcome, regardless, is that your tank is no longer naded, right? That is your job, right? You're forcing them to the outcome to become the same thing as if they were doing something stupid regardless. And that's why it's so beautiful, is it doesn't matter what rank you're in. Ultimately, as long as people aren't playing like completely insane and wacko crazy mode, like everybody's holding up here or some stupid crazy shit like that, or whatever kind of thing, right? Like, if people are playing the general areas that people tend to play, like, these flanks will always work. I mean, obviously, again, there's a level of execution. They're not always going to work, but they always have the ability to work, you know? Because the outcome is the same. So, like, again, same thing as here. Like, maybe you're able to kill their feeding tank or whatever, but this only works if their tank is feeding and you can punish it. But this will work regardless if their tank is feeding. And so it doesn't matter. Even if you can still do this even if their tank is feeding, because it's going to work the same regardless. You know what I mean? So you just need to be more aggressive and be more hungry on taking those off angles, and prioritize them over shooting people sometimes. Again, like this Tracer. Yeah, you killed the Tracer, great. But it got you killed, kinda. Technically you didn't die, but you should count this as a death. The fact that you didn't die here is a miracle and a half. And you got away with it. But this is a death 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10 in Platinum. Like, there is no... I'm actually gobsmacked. I'm gonna have nightmares about the fact that you lived here. So, like, it turned what could have been a absolute fight-winning trade, or a fight-winning flank, into a trade with Tracer. Which, again, it still didn't turn out that way because you got lucky and live or whatever, blah, 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 whatever, right? But, like... all because you kind of greeted fighting the Tracer, and then you realized too late of like, oh, actually I can't participate here, like I need to go and flank, you know, like you just need to realize that sooner. The Brig rally sucked, and like I don't blame you, like it's a hard 50-50, but like, okay, I have to just let Brig rally be useless and nothing. And sometimes you don't know what you can get away with. Sometimes there are fights that doing that you will eventually lose some outcomes where if you had fought this, you would have actually won the fight then and there. Those will happen. But again, we're gambling, right? We're essentially gambling on whether, like, the chances of winning this fight are so much lower than just hiding here and then going in and flanking. And the chances of winning this fight, even though it's a fight later, are so much higher. Just take the fight, you know? Because on cast you're so much slower, losing this flank here is detrimental, because then you have to take an extra fight just to get back into some sort of position that you can use, right? So just be more decisive, take more flanks, try to just sit and shoot the tank less. The tank should always be the last person you're shooting if you can help it. Now there will be some occasions where like there's nothing you can do but shoot the tank. There's exceptions for every rule. And Cass is pretty good at just gunning a tank down and pressure him. And Doomfist is one of those tanks. Doomfist is a great tank for if you have to shoot a tank. Doomfist is one of the best ones you can shoot as Cass, as long as you're not shooting his block. But ultimately, if that tank keeps slipping away, you have to start focusing on taking duels on the squishies. I would rather you fight Tracer or fight Genji than fight Doom, if you can. Because again, ultimately, you want to get around that Doom, take his backline away, and give him nothing to retreat to. Because a better Doom will not sit there and feed his brains out and not, get out, like their tank was. But if you remove their outpost and remove where they're trying to disengage to by taking away their backline, then it doesn't matter if that Doom disengages or not, because he's going to die anyway. Or his engagement doesn't matter because his team's dead, so there's nothing he can do. So even if he doesn't die, you lose, like he can't win the fight, regardless, kind of thing. But other than that, I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. But good luck in your games.